Hello and welcome to Transformation Through Creative Expression, where you're going to discover all about how to express your inner freedom, unleash that authentic joy, and live full out basically by expressing through the creative elements of music, song, dance, poetry, arts, and crafts. And my guest at the minute is Summer McStravick. Welcome, Summer.
Thanks, Patricia.
Summer, she has pioneered the art of flow dreaming. And flow dreaming helps you program your future, grow your inner power. And she's also built flowdreaming.com, where you can browse hundreds of her flow dreams to use in your life, basically today. And before flow dreaming, Summer built Hay House Radio and produced hundreds of online and audio programs for your favourite, like Louise Hay, the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, and Doreen Virtue. And today she's channeled all of that into ME School, where you can explore your empathic intuition, learn to talk to the universe, and unearth your true manifesting power. So, I'd love to open with this question, Flo. For those who are new to flow dreaming, what exactly is the flow?
Well, thanks, Patricia, for having me. It's wonderful to be here. And yes, let's just jump into what flow is, but also I just want to address everybody who's watching who comes from a creative nature. That's where I come from. For me, I express it by making things. And making things for me is sort of like an ongoing theme. And going into manifesting and co-creation and the making of things, for me really means that there's a physical way of making things and there's a non-physical way of making things. And you need to do both to get something properly expressed into the world, properly created. If you're only focusing on one side or the other, well, we've all tried to make things non-physically and just waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and wondering when are they ever going to actually happen. And then we've all tried to make things physically without any non-physical guidance. And the things we make just sort of oftentimes fall apart in our hands. So this idea of flow and of flow dreaming brings both of these together. It's this realization that whenever we're setting out to make anything, whether it is something that you're creatively expressing, your particular art or talent, or even in my world, you know, if I'm working with someone who's a coach or they're in marketing, for instance, I recognize, hey, they're making an audience. They're making awareness. It's all just a different form of it. So we bring flow dreaming into the equation as a way to sort of focus ourselves where we're making non-physically and we're making physically. So flow itself started as a technique, oh gosh, 20 something years ago now. It was a way that I would speak and talk and sort of work with the universe that didn't rely on meditation because I'm not really great at that. A lot of us who are very creative, our minds are like these busy little mice running all the time, right? You know, we don't meditate so well. We're always thinking of new things while we're meditating.
Yes.
And I was also kind of playing around with older techniques, you know, ones that kind of move through life and society, positive affirmations and guided visualization and so forth. What I discovered with flow dreaming is that if you bring these three aspects, three techniques together into one, it creates something even bigger. So I was researching flow psychology at the time, Jungian psychology. I was researching a certain form of physics, holist physics, where they're starting to look at everything in the universe as united through a kind of common, let's call it an underground river of everything. And I was also thinking about, well, there should be a way to get into a heightened state, a connected state. There should be a way, if we're both physical and non-physical at the same time, there should be a way to actually connect with non-physical that should already be built in. It shouldn't take us hours and years of practice or only be gifted to certain special people. Like, what would be the point of that? So all of this is leading me, basically, I'm very much putting this in a nutshell, to this technique of flow dreaming, where I realized that flow state is something you can actually be in. It's been characterized for many, many years. It's been written about many, many times. It's being able to move into a state of awareness where you're outside of time, you're outside of space. You literally forget where you are or how much time has passed. Inside of flow state, then there is, excuse me, something was just flying around me. I think it may have flown in my mouth. Awkward. I don't know. Anyway, yes, it was just flying the way of the flow. I'm like, what is that falling on me? Anyway, aside from flow, the other way in, remember how I said, is it shouldn't be something that you have to practice and practice and practice and not be kind of gifted with it inside. Everything that we are born with was gifted to us as a means to thrive. Yeah. And we've all been gifted with the ability to access non-physical too. So for me, it took the form of daydreaming. And I began researching daydreaming. We daydream about 30% of the time. We don't even realize we're doing it because we're actually, it's like imagine a computer that's checking for email in the background. We don't really know it's doing it, but it's constantly just pinging and checking in and checking in. And, you know, a lot of the systems that humans create are modeled on other more basic systems inside of us and inside the world, such as email and our own inner ability to constantly daydream and kind of check in. What is the guidance? What are the fears? You know, often we don't use daydreaming so well, we go into fear and so forth. Then the third part of it, because I'm trying to speed dial you through it here, is we have flow, we have guided daydreaming. And I'm like, well, what happens when you get into this flow state and I'm daydreaming my way in? What do I do there? Like, how do I communicate? And that's when I realized that the one form of communication that is universal between species, you know, between your dogs and you, or your cats and you, universal between people. You go to another part of the world, you don't speak the language, but you can look in someone's eyes and you can feel how they're feeling. You can feel it. Emotion is that universal language. It's the only language we have that out expresses words 1,000-fold, you know? You try and describe what love is. You could take 1,000 words and still not get there, but you feel it. So you bring these three things together into this gorgeous technique. You begin doing it and feeling it. And what ends up happening is you're actually programming your future. It's like you're exuding outward from you because, right, you're a creative being. Anybody who's painted or drawn anything, you know that when you're gifting something out of you, you can almost feel it, right? And, you know, it ends up being an expression of you, a little piece, a little part of you. It's like there's something behind just the final output. There's the doing of it itself. When you're in flow state, it's really similar. When you're flow dreaming, you're actually manifesting, you're creating something. And what you're creating is just as real. It has just as real as a result as, you know, the painting that you just put together. And the result, though, is not something you hang on your wall. It's an actual new physical beingness of energy, of direction, of guidance that you have just now created inside yourself, inside your energy field, inside your life. And just like anything creative, when you do it over and over and over again, what happens? You get better at it. And it starts to become more of you. So those are people who are really manifesting and co-creating. I'm sorry, I know you want to ask a question, please.
Just as you're speaking, I discovered flow dreaming about 7 years ago. I didn't know it was flow dreaming. It was through another lady. You probably know her, Gladys Diaz.
Oh, I do, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Because at that time, I was coaching with her. And she had said to me, I have a friend who does this. And she gave me basically the three basic steps. And that's all she said. We went on ahead doing our own work, but she just maneuvered over into that. And I had kind of grabbed it. There was something in it. And I went, oh. And it was, I knew from her speaking that something could be done through the flow dreaming. And what happened with me, and I keep telling this story, at that time I was going through a marriage breakdown. and of divorce, which also was happening. But through the flow dreaming and through the belief in it, I came back round full circle. And I'm back home in my home with my husband in my first marriage after coming through a whole divorce, everything gone,
Wow.
spark and all gone. On my end, spark disappeared. Flow dreaming, it's unbelievable. It's a miracle the way I can describe this. And my next question to you is, what about the skeptics out there?
Yeah.
I know I've just spoken here as a sign of proof, but yeah.
I know, thank you. You're making me think, that's how flow dreaming has really kind of circled around the world. It's largely been word of mouth. It's largely been people sharing it with other people. So as far as the skeptics out there, there's nothing I can do to convince anybody, nor would I really want to. It's something you arrive at when you're ready to arrive at it. And I think, from my own personal experience, I'm in my late 40s now. I've been through all the things that you're supposed to go through in life, with the exception of grandkids.
Yeah, I
And the
know your
marriage.
story. I must ask.
And the career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did breast cancer. Did I've done the things. I bought the house. And a lot of us reach a point
Yeah,
when we start asking this question.
I'm going to interrupt you here. If
Yeah.
you are comfortable sharing your story, I would love you to share your story, because I know your story.
Oh, you mean of going through cancer?
Yes. Yeah.
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 Okay.
I think
All
that's
right.
an amazing one. Yeah.
I'll get that in.
Yeah.
I came to this kind of realization that life and our society equips us for the fundamentals, right? This is what you do. And if you do these things, you'll be successful, and you can retire on some beach in Hawaii and be, that's it. You did your life. But a lot of us reach a point when we say to ourselves, is this it? Wait, have I done what I'm here to do? Have I fully expressed myself? Is there a richer, deeper layer? And we look at the things that we have and we realize they're not fulfilling me the way I wanted it to do. Like you were just saying, your marriage story made me think of this. Okay. That's when a lot of us embark on, there must be other tools. There must be something else. But this time it's not just going to be handed to me in, the school system and through trickle through society and what my parents. I've got to have to search for this. I've got to find it. Is the wisdom out there? That's where people end up usually finding flow dreaming, because they start to recognize all these things I've been trying to do physically. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. It feels pretty directionless. There's no guarantees. God, there's got to be something more. There's got to be a powerful sort of guiding direction for my growth and for my full expression of who I am. If I really believe in a soul or source or any of that, there's got to be a path of being where everything is cleared of resistance, where if I can just be in that space and learn what it's like to be in that space, which is half the battle, maybe that's the next area that I need to really jump into and see if I can master and discover it. So, I mean, for a skeptic, it's more a question of, you can be any religion, you can be no religion, you can be atheist, it doesn't matter. You just have to recognize that, do I believe that I'm an evolving being and an evolving consciousness? Do I believe that consciousness might exist both inside my body and in an expanded space? If I do, then why the hell am I not using it? Right? I'm only being half a creator unless I'm using that as well. Now, how do I put them together?
Yeah.
So that's for the skeptic question. Now, as far as cancer goes, right? Gosh, there's so much I could talk about with that. I was diagnosed a few years ago, stage 2. My kids were both still in grade school. And I realized at that moment, okay, we sometimes think that we can make these agreements or bargain, with life and the universe. If I'm only a good person, if I exercise 3 times a week, I was vegetarian for 24 years. I'm like, I did everything right. Why would you give me breast cancer in my young 40s? What are you talking about? And I realized that we have these assumptions, right? If I can control things, well enough, bad things won't happen.
Yeah.
And it really made me go quite deep into my own practice. Do I believe that there is that path that I just spoke of? Do I believe that there's a path that doesn't have resistance in it? And when it does have resistance, it's there for a really darn good reason, probably because I'm asking for it as a way for me to grow. And I had that come to Jesus moment, you know, that old saying, where I understood it's not about the things that I'm doing and trying to make sure I'm controlling my life so that I don't have bad feelings or I don't have this or that. Yes, it's all good to do, but it doesn't mean that I'm not still going to be gifted with things that are for me. And I had to really turn the whole thought of cancer around from a punishment to a gift. And the gift would be, what are you going to do with this? Who are you going to be inside of this? All this flow dreaming stuff you teach, can you do it now? You know, and this is really actually really relevant to what we're experiencing right now as we're taping this.
Yeah.
With the virus going around.
There's this whole pandemic, really. Everything.
Yeah, it's this pandemic.
On shutting down.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I'm not sure when you're going to air this, but I have a feeling, you know, we're all going to still be thinking about this.
Yeah, it's going to air at the beginning of May. And probably the pandemic will still be around.
I think we're all, even if it wasn't, we're also going to be highly impacted.
Yeah.
Our psyches have been impacted.
Yeah. Our whole, in fact, I'm filled with questions and I'm putting in here. But that was another question I had was, you know, my big problem, big thing that it's hitting me is in business work.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I do a lot of online work, but I do a lot of in-person work, teaching music. And I'm trying to move that online, but a lot of the music students are totally new to online connections like this.
Yes.
They're lost. So it makes us.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's making us change quickly. So to wrap up though, about the connection between cancer and now, I've had to go through the exact same experience again, just now with my family. Again, I cannot control this. It's outside of me.
Yeah.
Is there a gift in this? Who do I want to be in this? Who do I want to be through this experience? And a lot of us are saying, I'm going to run and hide. I'm just going to I'm just going to retract and hide and wait for the waves to crash over and be done. The way that I live and what flow dreaming has really taught me and cancer and so forth is that every moment in life it embodies a precious experience. And if you're really communicating both physically and non-physically, the question you ask is, what am I to receive from this experience? And what can I create in this experience? And a lot of people aren't asking, what can I create in this experience? They're all just running for the hills. Some of us are still asking, what do I create right now inside of this? Because obviously I need to understand or learn something inside of this. And when I come on the outside of this, I'm going to walk away with that thing. So now this goes right into my online experience in life. So let's go back to making things for a second, right?
Yeah.
You know, I know you mentioned Me School. I actually have another program. It's called Born to Make. It is for creative entrepreneurs. It's for people who create first. And they, you know, I've got people who embroider. I've got people who are actors. I've got people who, you know, pot plants and sell them. I just get all kinds of people in this who are expressing themselves through this. And we're having the same conversation, right? They're a monthly group and I meet with them. In fact, I'm talking with them all later today. We're putting together a 90-day plan. What are we going to express through this? And one of the things that I'm seeing is we have this enormous rapid shift right now from physical stuff to online stuff. Now, fortunately, I've been doing my entire business online since 2009. With a few exceptions, you know, sometimes I'll teach in person, but it's very rare because I have kids, I don't want to travel. I like to be home. So you're learning, we're all learning, how do I take my skills and move them into an environment where in my world, Patricia, you have even a bigger audience right now than you ever had in person. Your audience just multiplied by millions. And your job right now is to figure out, how do I reach them And how do I teach them not just music, but this new way of drinking in music, of experiencing it? What's going to be a great fit for me? And that's where you're going to get creative. You know, do I want to have little classes? Do I want to do one-on-ones? Do I want to do introductory classes? Do I want to have my students do music recitals online together for everyone who can't be there in person? I mean, like, boom. And this is going to impact your business and your life for the next decade. And it was a direction life and the world was already going in. It wasn't like this is brand new. It's already been moving here. And now we're just getting this accelerator. Yeah. Right. And you're getting accelerated with it. So who are you going to be in this right now? Are you going to be like, I'm going to wait it out and worry about all the money I'm losing because I don't have getting into cousins? Yeah. Or am I say, oh my God, I could emerge from this with this incredible new online community.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm encouraging all of my own class students to do this. And I'm showing them how to, you know, like my daughter right now, she's been getting tutoring because she was supposed to have her ACT test. She's in high school now. Can't do that anymore. We've completely moved it all online. She's taking all of her practice tests online. She's meeting with her tutor online. It's still very valuable to us. I am still very invested in it. Right. Because it's her future. Yeah. So one of the questions you can ask is, how do I make my students understand the value in keeping playing now? And that the more that they play, the better they can get. They have an incredible opportunity. They're not traveling to school every day. They've got an hour and a half they can be practicing. How do I communicate? What do they want to come out of this with? Yeah. Yeah. And they're having... Anyway, get me talking. I just go off about any subject.
They're having a lot more free time, you know, at home with parents, you know, with family. Whereas at school, well, they have their friends, but family's more important, really. Okay, I know you have a free gift. Do you want to share with us a little bit about that?
Sure. This is going so quickly. Oh my gosh. I'm happy to do a little flow dreaming with you. You know, it's something we can actually do together if you want for like 5 minutes if you have the time.
Yeah, no, I'm okay demonstration. Yeah, we're okay for time. Sure.
Okay. So, but yeah, I'll tell you, like, if this is intriguing you and you're thinking, oh my gosh, yes, you're right. I'm in the middle of transition. I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. I know that I need to creatively express myself. Oh, you know what, this reminds me. You know, one of the things I'm always, my mantra in my Born to Make group is, you mentioned how Dr. Wynne Dyer and I, we were partners for 5 years on the radio together. And I did a lot of work with him, for him, you know, helping him with his, all the things he created through Hay House. And I remember one of the things that we talk about every week is don't die with your music still in you. I can still hear him saying that over and over. Yeah. And it's so funny because, you know, here 10 years later, I'm telling people the same thing. Don't die with your music still in you. Yeah. Don't die with your music still in you. Find your music. Yeah. And like, what if that's the whole point of life? What if it's not the house and the car and the partner and all that? Maybe it's the whole point is to find the music in you and have the guts and the courage to express it. What if that's the only thing that's going to get you in the pearly gates? Yeah. And I mean that like a little bit as a joke, but I also mean that for real.
Your music still in you is actually your whole splendor, your whole, everything that's there. So it's more than music. It's everything, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what a maker is. That's what a creative person is. You know, we've just discovered how to let ourselves trust what we're making. I can't tell you how many times I've started something and I'm like, this could just be absolute crap, you know, but I'm going to trust that it's going to be okay. And even if it's not, I'll be able to set it down and do another thing. But there's that moment of trust going in every time. And the bigger picture is that moment of trust going into your whole life. Yeah. So anyway, do you want to say something and then I'll tell you about the free gift?
Just as you're saying about trust, those people that are manifesting.
Yeah.
Some people have it quicker than others.
Oh, yeah.
Years, weeks.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, let me get to that because that's a huge, like I teach multiple classes on that very thing. Right. And that's my me school. Like, why am I not getting what I'm getting? We go all the way into it because I'm like, unless you know this, you're never going to get to the other side of it. So bite this off. But let me tell you, the gift that I have is this flow dreaming that
Yeah.
I'm teaching and that we do. I put together a series of audios that you listen to, plug
Okay.
in your headphones. You can listen to it on your phone, as well as some PDFs that just if you like to read things, like I like to read. It scans through. There's like a quick start guide. Here's what you do. A little booklet that also explains it to you. And then it also comes with a pre-recorded flow dream. So flow dreaming isn't something you have to do by listening to someone else. It is something that you can do inside. It's sort of like meditation, right? You can meditate just on your own, or you can listen to a guided meditation. Flow dreaming is similar. So I give people this whole package, and it's quite a good package. I mean, I know I could sell this. I probably should sell this, but I'm so devoted to just teaching it. And then if people want to get more flow dreams that are pinpointed to what they're after, then they can go to my shop and they can just sort of download and buy the certain ones they want for different areas of their life. Like you maybe when you were going through your marriage, I had one called Perfect Communication and Intimacy, another one called Resolving Irresolvable Situations, right? All of these things that you can pick and choose from. So anyway, people should go get that. And I'm not sure how you're providing it. Maybe you could tell everybody.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, I'm not sure how you're providing it. There must be a link. They can go grab the free kit.
Oh, yes.
Or they can go to my website.
Yeah, there's a free gift link. I'll ask you to send me the link, and then I'll put it into an email going out with the video here. Yeah.
Great. And flowdreaming.com. I haven't said it. I should at least tell you guys what my website is. Okay. So let's talk about why it's slow, and then let's do a little bit of flow dreaming together.
Okay.
What do you say?
Okay. No problem.
So there's a lot of different answers for why it's slow. And like I said, I teach several hours, probably 3 to 4 hours on this one topic alone. Okay. I think one of the big things has to do with resistance and fear. And those are also tied to trust. And again, each one of those is a whole class. So let's just talk a minute about resistance. Many of us are attempting to do things or get things, and we're trying to create them, and maybe we're even flow dreaming for them. Maybe we're even trying to do our manifesting work and do our physical work toward it, right? Because it's like walking. If you have 2 legs, one leg is the physical work, the other is the non-physical support and direction, and then physical work and then non-physical. If you don't have one of those, then you're hopping, and it's really, really hard to get anywhere. Yeah. When people are trying to create things, they encounter resistance either within themselves or outside of themselves. That's it. It's very simple. The inner resistance is something that people have really become aware of in the last few years, especially with coaching coming out. The inner resistance takes the form of, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I do it, if anybody will want it. I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. I don't think I'll make a living at it. We have long lists of inner resistance. Outer resistance takes the form of, I tried it and it didn't work. Every time I try to do this, it flops and it fails. Every time I try to, I make something and nobody buys it. What's going on? So what ends up happening over time is we're eroding our trust every time that happens. Like we try it, it doesn't work, and the trust goes down, whether it's the inner resistance or the outer resistance. So you end up with this very broken, crumbled sense of trust in yourself and your life. And I always say there's 3 forms of trust: trust of self, trust of others, and trust of the universe. And we all have to figure out which one is most broken. Sometimes they're all 3 broken. But when you start unpacking and discovering that, you realize that you've probably been setting up a lot of countercurrents in your flow and in your life. And the countercurrent looks like this. I really, really want this. Ooh, I'm on fire. I'm going to make this. It's going to happen. I'm going to flow for it. I'm programming. I'm doing it. And then the other current coming from you is, yeah, but it hasn't worked before. Surprise me. I'd like to see it work this time because I really don't think it will. But I'm going to try anyway. But yeah, my expectations, if I really am honest, are pretty low. Or the universe just doesn't want me to have it. It's just not in this life. Every time I hear that phrase, I just want to just go, You know,
Oh,
what do you mean not in this life? What
yeah.
that's the ultimate form of broken trust. That's saying source or the universe just doesn't want me to have it. There's nothing I can do. I'm
Gosh.
like, what happened to your power? What happened to your inner power? Where did it go? How did it get eaten away, eroded away in your life? And, the thing is, for most of us, it has, because when you're busy living, you're busy creating messes behind you. That's the fact of living. But we have to go back and tidy up those messes and rebuild those messes continuously and rebuild that trust continuously,
And we don't
because
know.
all of your manifesting is going to be stuck and stopped
Yeah.
right behind the last mess that wasn't cleaned up.
And we don't know we're doing this.
No, no, of course not.
Yeah.
But you can, once you start becoming aware of it. All
Yeah.
you have to do is look around in your life and say, what's not working right now?
Yeah.
What's not working? What don't I like? Right in that thing, that is your next step.
Yeah.
That is the resistance that's looking at you right now and saying, fix me. Everything you want is on the other side of me.
Yeah. Resistance is so difficult to overcome. I
Can
find.
be,
Right.
but I always say it's like this. When you're building trust, it's great to do a lot of little tiny steps of trust.
Okay.
It's hard to do a really giant one.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like getting a divorce is a giant step.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the biggie. And most people stew on it and mull on it for years in a state of unhappiness because it's a big one. But what if you're doing tiny little steps of trust every day? What if you're building it a little at a time,
Yeah.
making little decisions like, I'm going to say yes to this, or I'm going to try and do that, or I'm going to let myself actually say something I want to say and not bite my tongue because I've been trained to do that. So I don't, stir the pot. Little things
Little
like that.
steps are easy. Yeah.
That is how you get through resistance in a more faster, methodical way.
Yeah.
And again, flow and flow dreaming helps you with this.
Right.
You don't do the big thing all at once.
Right.
You start to up level your energy a bit at a time, stronger and stronger. Then when you can encounter bigger forms of resistance, and the big form doesn't look as big anymore because it's like you've grown to the same size as it, right?
Yeah.
It's not huge and you're tiny. Now you've grown and now you're the big, and now you look at it, you're like, oh, you're kind of equal to me now. Oh, I can take you on. That makes sense?
Yeah. It's unbelievable that the faith then that you start to have in it whenever you see results.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You become a more fearless person because you've taken a lot of your personal power back, and you realize that no one in life can take that power away from you unless you give it to them willingly.
Yes. So true. So true.
Yeah. And society will take it with their weird thoughts about who you are and how you should live. And other people will take it. You will give it to them through your insecurities and fears about not giving away, and creating and expressing yourself. So it's all about bringing it back in.
Yeah.
And so when we flow, in fact, let's do a flow dream kind of on that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
that's all right.
I'd be all
I
right.
have a feeling. Yeah, because I think by May, a lot of us will have really lost a lot of our personal power through the
I was just
fear.
going to say that even myself, there's a feeling of I don't know what it is. It's like not I'm fighting the feeling of jacking it all in, giving everything up. And on the other side, I know there are people that are just lying back watching Netflix and not wanting to do anything. Whereas there are people there that have this urge really to keep going. So kind of leaning into that side.
Exactly. And I've been speaking with a lot of my students, and some of them are being triggered and they're going into a healing phase.
Right.
I'm like, that's fine. That's an active phase.
Yeah.
Actually, healing is an active state of being. And they're like, in fact, I was talking with one of my private clients yesterday, and she said, I should be painting and I should be writing, and I don't feel like doing either. And I said, well, because you're in a healing phase. And when we're healing, we don't like creating output.
That's right. Yeah.
Some of us, though, are saying, what do I want to emerge with? And we're in a creating phase, right? And that's where I've been in. I'm putting together all kinds of, like I just put together a playlist for immunity and protection of just flow dreams, just for body protection, energy protection,
Yeah,
emotional protection.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
One because
yeah, like
our whole energy is saturated. Yeah.
we need a counterbalance so bad right now. Yeah. So yeah, it's okay whatever state you're in. So if you just want to just throw things away for a few weeks and watch Netflix, I would recognize I'm in a healing phase. The one phase you want to really be aware of though right now is, am I in a fearful, scared, retracted phase? How long do I want to stay there? And you know that feeling, you recognize that feeling. It's a collapse.
It's a
Something is like dropping out of the bottom of you.
right.
And that is a way of being, an emotional, energetic state that absolutely allows every rotten thing in, right? It's fear is a can opener. And that's the one area you want to stay out of.
Mm.
Okay,
Ways.
let's flow. Otherwise, we'll just talk for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a little sip of my coffee to get me going here a little bit. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. It may feel a bit like meditation for some of you who've done it before. It's not going to be. I'm going to be speaking much too loud, much too quickly. And you're going to say, slow down, honey, because I'm still meditating on this. I'm going to say, this is not the point. I don't want you clearing your mind. I want you engaging your mind.
All right.
This is the daydreaming aspect. Your mind, and you guys are all creative, right? So your mind wants to help you. It's your happy, pretend it's your happy little dog. You've taken it out for a walk. It's so excited. It just wants you to throw the ball over and over. So you're going to throw the ball of images and letting it see things, right? And it's going to run after that ball. It's going to be so happy to help you. That's the guided daydreaming. The other part of it is flow state. And flow state is a feeling you'll enter without even realizing you got there. You're going to be daydreaming, realizing what you're doing. And at some point, it's kind of like when you're losing yourself daydreaming just generally, you know you're thinking about something. And then 5 minutes later, you snap back and you realize, where was I? Like, have you ever driven home and you're wondering, how did I get home? Because I forgot, did I even stop at the last 4 stoplights? You know, there's a part of our mind that's somewhere else, right? Part of us is here. Part of us is connected. Okay. So you'll go into flow state and you might recognize that. It means you're in there. Mm-hmm. And then the last part is the emotion. And that's why I'm speaking fast. Right. I want you to feel something. I want you to open up your emotions, open up your heart, because when you're feeling it, you're feeling that emotion. You're feeling, I call it a pre-action, not a reaction. Okay. Right? Mostly we feel emotions as a result of other things happening to us. Okay. We almost never create emotions before things happen to us. So I'm going to teach you how to feel something before you have any right to feel it, any reason to feel it. Because the minute you feel that positive emotion, what you're actually telling your life is more of this. Look, here's what I want. I'm drawing it like a blueprint of feelings. I want feelings that I am safe, that I'm making money, that I am healthy, and that I am fully expressed. That's what I'm after. I want those feelings in my life by any means necessary, because the means necessary don't really matter as long as they reach me those feelings.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to show my universe. I'm going to show my flow. I'm going to exude these feelings. And I'm going to exude them over and over so much in my life that anything that encounters me, imagine it like a field of energy around you, right? Anybody who encounters it says, oh, this person feels like she's healthy and she's safe and she's fully expressed. I have to sync up with that. I have to align to that. What can I do to make sure she gets more of that? Because that's what she's giving me. You know, and the universe likes to match things. So that's kind of a little backstory behind it, but those are the 3 parts and we're going to jump in. Okay.
Okay. Right.
All right. Eyes closed. I like to take a deep breath. I pretend I'm in yoga class and, you know, you do the lion and big loud breath all the way down to your abdomen. You let your body relax. You don't worry about looking silly. You roll your neck on your shoulders and you wiggle your jaw. And your body's at ease. It's not holding any tension now. You're letting yourself just drift, being aware of the room or the space around you, being aware of life around you, all the life around you. Recognizing all the life around you is each in its own flow of energy. It's moving through time and space in its own way. Every bird outside in a tree is moving through its life cycle, moving into its next steps, moving along a path of being and growth. It's moving in a direction that is very solid and real. The bird isn't getting younger, it's getting older. The earth is not revolving around the sun backward, it's revolving around the sun forward. The ocean currents are flowing in the same beautiful, strong direction. The seasons are turning in the same beautiful, flowing direction. Everything is moving toward expansion, evolution, growth, and greater awareness. Beautiful complexity in life. Beautiful complexity in our minds, good complexity, richness and depth. Looking at your life, looking at our lives right now, you're flowing also toward beautiful complexity, richness, depth, evolution, and awareness. You're seeing your own life right now like a shining and glimmering bit of silvery thread streaking through space. Maybe the space is beautiful and rich with purples and blues. Maybe it's a beautiful empty space that's translucent and filled with silvers and whites. Maybe the space is right here around you on earth, but sort of behind everything, inside and behind it all. And yet you can feel this direction, this path, this line in front of you. It draws you forward and it feels so good and perfect. And you realize you didn't have to make this. It was already there. The path of your greatest growth, your path of ease, your path of positivity, the path, if there were God or source making it for you. This is what I want for you, my child. All the best, all the most beautiful. You remember the feelings. If you are a parent, what you want for your children, all the best, all the most beautiful, all based in love. This is the path. It's already there. Feel yourself now aligning to it. Put your hands out in front of you as if you are grabbing onto a beautiful railing going down a long, long hallway, and it just leads you. It draws you, and it feels right and good, and anything not in alignment with it flows away from you, disappears, and you can look around right now and sense those things that really haven't felt like they've been right for you or are part of you. These are things that haven't built you up, they've torn you down. Things that have emptied you, things that have broken you, things that have made you afraid, feeling them all disappear, turning to dust and light, falling in a cascade around you on either side, being reabsorbed into the flow of life and all things to be recycled into other feelings and other states of being and other material things as well. And yet you are still solid and calm and moving and flowing and billowing forward. And you're realizing, I still have my life. And my life is still filled with all of these gorgeous opportunities. Look around. You see the earth through these new eyes. Do you see all the billions and billions of people? Look at them. There are people who are in alignment with you. There are opportunities right now in alignment with you, and they are good. And these are people who are re-emerging. These are opportunities that are fine and bright and ready for you, that have been calling for you. These are chances for you to take. to move into good things, things you would have never expected or chosen before. But so much has shifted. It's like a new canvas is opened, and look what's there. It is rich and it is full. What is in it? Do you hear it? Do you hear it like beautiful notes, the chimes of the universe? Pick them out. They're yours. A new canvas has been revealed, and it is rich and full. We are all rich and full. As long as we've attuned ourselves and our eyes and our hearts to feel and see those bits of light, those opportunities. Are you that person? Is it a yes? Do you feel a yes inside? Is it a yes? Feel the yes inside. Yes, I am that person. I am that person. I am on the forefront. I am right there first in line for the beautiful things that are opening and blowing my way. And I say to my life and universe right now, I'll take that. Yes. Is this right for me? Is this my next step? Wonderful. I will do it. And yeah, I might be a little nervous, but it's here and I will do it. And I will receive it. And I'll go into it. Yes. And you feel the agreement? And you feel the expansiveness? And you recognize all that lack thinking and scarcity thinking feels so low and beneath and behind me. Now that I'm remembering all that's still here, a rich harvest, bountiful fields waiting to be planted. And I'm the one out doing it. My family and I, we're safe and secure and protected and engaged. And I'm ready. Now you hold that feeling, returning even now. As you come back from flow, eyes open. That one went a bit longer than I thought, but I never know what'll happen when I get out there.
That was actually beautiful. There was times I was coming in and out, probably resistance could have been in me towards it. I don't know why, but other times I was seeing myself walking and a square slab being set in front and me stepping onto it. So I was following the slabs that were being built on the road. So instead of a road, there was a road there, but it was being built as I was walking it.
Yeah.
That was sort of funny.
So that's your particular imagery that came to you. There's always guidance in that. You know, it speaks to you in whatever language you can read it and understand it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's definitely a picture.
And dipping in and out is totally normal. Most people do that. But if there were a few minutes that just passed and you realized, oh, before you kind of got knocked out of it, you were in there, your little email, computer, checking your email. And instead of just receiving information, you were also sending information.
Right, it was like receiving information, getting a download.
It goes both ways, right? That's how flow energy works. You receive from it and you also send energy to it. It's like a CD-ROM. Remember those old things? You could either write to the CD-ROM. People used to burn discs all the time. They'd put information onto it and then they'd pop it in the computer and read information off of it and play a game or listen to music or whatever. That's how we work with flow.
Yeah. The feeling of security was coming and going, but every time it was coming and I grasped it, it was secure.
Yeah. I imagine you have more and more of that feeling. Yeah. More and more of that feeling of security over and over. Because right now, everybody's looking around in the world asking someone else to give it to them. Give me a feeling of security. Would you give me a feeling of security? Will my job give me a feeling of security? Yeah. And right now in the world, if no one has it inside them, no one has it to give. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to make it inside you first. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
Perfect.
I hope everybody loves it. And if you want to get more of them, like I said, go to flowdreaming.com. I have tons of them for
Yeah.
immunity, for strength, for creativity. And then, of course, Born to Make is where you want to come if you want me to help you actually express.
Perfect.
So it's wonderful.
Everyone listening, I hope you're grabbing this. If you haven't grasped it, listen to the interview again. You have it here for 3 days, and then it's taken off again, and then you'll get it at the end of the masterclass series. So, Flo, I was going to call you Flo, and that's the second time I was going to call you Flo.
It's my nickname.
Flo.
Summer Flow.
Summer, thank you so much. And it's been a delight to have you on here. And those of you that are listening in, I'm hoping the questions I was asking have been covering the questions you wanted to ask Summer. So Summer, thank you again. Thank you very much. It's been a delight.
Thank you, Patricia, for letting me speak to everybody and teach.
You're welcome.
Always an honor.
You're welcome. And everybody, check your inbox tomorrow. Another interview. Okay, bye for now.